Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. I pay my obeisances to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. I also pay my obeisances to our Shiksha Guru Niranjan Prabhu, and also thank the devotees who are assembled in this room and who have allowed me to speak a few words on Acharyapashnam. I do not have the qualification to say anything on this complicated subject. Therefore, I pray to all your blessings and all your prayers, so that whatever I say are in the Parampara Gyan, and also it helps you to make advance to your spiritual knowledge. Hare Krishna. We were studying the sloka of chapter 13, slok number 8 of Bhagavat Gita, and in that I have been asked to talk about Acharyapashnam, which, if you translate in our language, is impact of Guru in our spiritual life. So I will actually focus this discussion in three sections. The first section I will talk about why Guru Upasana is important. The second section I will talk about what is the qualities of Guru, and the third section I will speak about if we disrespect our Guru, what is the consequence to that to our spiritual life. Now, if we ask a group of people or someone that do you really need to approach a spiritual master? Now, the genuine answer what we get from them, no, you don't need. There are a lot of books available, lot of literatures, lot of scriptures available. If I read all of them, it is sufficient for us to acquire the knowledge, and therefore we do not need any guru to make advancement in our studies. Let us try to first attack this hypothesis and try to break this myth first. I am going to speak a slok for you, all of you, and maybe I will explain after that why that slok is important to understand it. The slok goes like this: Keshavam patitam drishtva Pandava harsha nirvara Rudanti Kaurava Sarvete Ha Keshava Ha Keshava. So the meaning of the slok is something like this: Keshavam patitam drishtva. By seeing that Krishna has fallen from the chariot, Pandava harsha nirvara. Pandavas are very happy and they are delighted. Rudanti Kaurava Sarve. So all Kauravas are crying and they are saying Ha Keshav Ha Keshav. Now the question is, how many of you have actually heard this story? Can you raise your hand if any one of you have heard this story in the Mahabharata? No, right? Because actually this has never happened in Mahabharata. But why Mr. Keshava has never fallen from chariot and Pandavas have never been delighted? But why this slok is there? What is the meaning of the slok? Actually, the meaning of the slok is different. Ke means water and Shava means dead body. Keshava patitam drishtava means dead body has fallen in the water. And looking at that, Pandava harsha nirvara. Pandava means Pa means water. Andava means the creature who take birth from eggs. So those are fishes. So fishes are happy because the dead body has fallen on water. They have got their food for almost a year. And Rudanti Kaurava. Kau means howling sound. Kaurava means the animals who make howling sound. So they are like jackals, they are like hyenas, the foxes. Now they are Rudanti, they are crying because they are crying and saying, Ha Keshava, water, the dead body has fallen on the water. Had that been on the ground, it would have been their fist, but now in the water, they cannot do anything. So you see, if we read a particular scripture or particular sloka from a document, it sometimes gives a very wrong connotation. Only a person who is self-enlightened, who has himself lived the life, he can actually guide us to the correct way of meaning of a statement. And that is why the choice of Guru is not optional, it is a must if we want to make progress in our spiritual life. My next subject is I will take these slokas which I have read in different books. In the ancient Vedas, it is told that God is the original Guru. He is actually Guru of the oldest Guru. And the word Guru, Gu means some kind of ignorance, and ru means to destroy. So guru is the person who destroys this ignorance and brings us to the knowledge of the light, and therefore that person is actually opens a new window of light to us, and therefore he is guru. As we all know that since eternity we are actually bound by the illusion of Maya, and Maya allows us to think that we are separate from our Godhead. We are this Deha. Now, if we want to uplift ourselves, we cannot do it ourselves. We need somebody higher than us, and who is a liberated person, who himself is free from attachment, and he can only take us up. Just an example, if you are wearing a chappal, and if you want to uplift yourself by pulling the bootstrap of the chappal, can you do that? We cannot do that. We need somebody higher up to take us up, and therefore Guru does exactly that activity. My next argument is again from Bhagavat Gita. In Bhagavat Gita, Adhyay 4, Sloka number 1, 2 and 3, Bhagavan is telling, Imang vivasanta yogang prokto vanam ahabvayam vivasha mannabe praho manuriksha kabeho bravit. He is telling that I gave this transcendental knowledge to Bhagavan Surya. Surya told this to Manu, and Manu told this to Ikhaku. As you all know, Ikhaku is the ancestors of the Raghukula, where in that Vangsha where Ramachandra took birth sometime. So Bhagavan is telling he gave the initial knowledge, and then that next slok he is telling, Ebang parampara praptam imam rajo shayo vidu sa kale neho mohota jogo nashto parantapa. He is telling that over a period of time, this knowledge on parampara level, it has actually fallen from one guru to his disciple, and that way the Rajarshis used to get the knowledge from their gurus actually. But what has happened? Over a period of time, this parampara gata has lost, and this continuity has been lost, and therefore this knowledge is almost not available anymore. And that is why in the last slok he is telling, Sa ebayo mayati haddo jogo prokto puratana bhaktoshi me sakha cheti rahasyam heto duttamam. He is telling, because this is lost, this is not known to anyone now, therefore I am telling you, Arjuna. Arjun is actually Bhakta, and he is Sakha of Bhagavan, and therefore this important knowledge, this transcendental knowledge, Bhagavan is telling to Arjun. So what has happened? This particular method by which we get the knowledge is called disciplinic succession. Disciplinic succession is practiced throughout the history of our spiritual advancement, where Krishna told this to Brahma. Brahma gave the knowledge to Narada Muni. Narada Muni gave to Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva gave to Madhava, and it continued like this for centuries around. And then just 500 years ago, when Bhagavan Sri Krishna Chaitanya took birth, he revived this disciplinic succession, and he told to his Parshadas, his students, which actually in recent time Prabhupada actually gave us the opportunity to bring us this knowledge. Now what will happen if we do not take the education from a person who has gone through the same parampara and who has acquired the knowledge in the same way? Then we will miss and we will break this cycle again. And therefore disciplinic succession claims that we should have a guru from whom we should get this knowledge actually. I will actually bring your attention in the next slide a very important thing. From the ages, whether the learned sages, the munis, rishis, even Bhagavan Krishna, everybody had their guru. Bhagavan Krishna had the opulent. He had actually 64 kalas he learnt in 64 days, but still he had Sandipani Muni as his guru. Similarly, Sri Ramchandra took his discipline, his lesson from Vasishtha Muni. Then Narada Muni was Gurudev of Dhruva Maharaja. Similarly, Narada Muni gave his knowledge to Srila Vyasdeva. And in recent time, our Acharyas of great repute, they have taken this knowledge from their gurus. So definitely people like us who have just started our journey in the spiritual path, we will need a learned person, a self-realized person, liberated person to tell us what exactly we need to do to take us out of this bhava samsara actually. And then I come to the most important slope of chapter 4, text 34, where Bhagavan is telling what should be the quality of a disciple when he approaches a guru. So Bhagavan is telling that viddhi praṇipātena paripraśhnena sevayā upadekṣhyanti te jñānaṁ jñāninas tattva-darśhinaḥ, which means he is telling that you need to approach a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively. You should praṇipātena means dandavat. You need to do the dandavat and ask him with all humility the questions, and you should then after getting the knowledge, you are supposed to do the service to him. Sevayā, that means he is doing the service to him, and then inquire, render service unto him, and then this self-realized soul will then impart the knowledge unto you, because they have seen the truth. And this is told by Bhagavan. So therefore Bhagavan himself in Gita is telling Guru is required. So we have no doubt that definitely Guru is required. Now in the next section I will break down what are the qualities of a Guru. What is the definition of Acharya? Definition of Acharya as per Vedas. In the Manduka Upanishad, they are actually telling, the Manu Sanghita, they are actually telling what is Guru. They are telling asinoti hi sarvo sastrarthan achare sthapayattapi swayam acharate jaschotam acharjam prakashati. So which means who is Acharya? Acharya who is a person who inquires into the meaning of the spiritual text, lives in accordance with the teachings of content therein, and makes others live according to them. That means through the example of his own life. That means Acharya not only learns by inquisitive way, he also lives those principles, and he helps all of us to live in the same manner. He is Acharya. Acharya gets the knowledge from, as I told you, from the Parampara tattva, so that he gets from his Guru, and from a reliable source he gets the knowledge. Veda is also telling about Acharya. Tad vijnanartham shagurung eva vikachet samitapani shotriya rahasya nishtam, which means in order to learn the transcendental science, one must approach the Bonafide Spiritual Master in disciplinic succession. So therefore, who is fixed in absolute truth. That means there are many people who claim them Guru, but we need to fix our mind to a person who has obtained this knowledge from the Bonafide Spiritual Master, who has obtained this knowledge from disciplinic succession, and he only will be able to take us to this difficult journey. Then I will come to the next chapter, how we should serve the spiritual master with faith and confidence. Again I will refer to one sloka in the Vedas where it is telling Sakshat dharito vena samastha sastroir uktas tatha bhavatto eva sadvi kintu prabharo sapriya eva tasyo bande guroho sri charana vrindam. So it is told in the revealed structure that the spiritual master should be worshipped like the supreme personality of Godhead, and his instruction is obeyed by pure devotees of the Lord. The spiritual master is most confidential servant of Lord. Thus, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of our spiritual master. So, I was actually going through another chapter in the Nectar of Nectar of Devotion, and Nectar of Devotion chapter 7, I got this description written by Srila Prabhupada, where he is telling that in Srimad Bhagavat, 17th chapter, verse 27, Lord is telling, when Lord is sending Uddhava to Vrindavan, he is telling him that, my dear Uddhav, the spiritual master must be accepted not only as my representative, but as my very self. He must never be considered on the same level with ordinary human being. One should never be envious of the spiritual master, as may be envious of an ordinary man. The spiritual master must be seen as the direct representative of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and by serving the spiritual master, one is able to serve the all demigods at one go. So we can make out how sincerely we should serve our spiritual master, how we should consider them as the direct descendant of the representative of the Supreme Godhead, and listen to him all his instruction. I will like to refer one small story. When Bajrangbali went to Lanka and he met Lankini, he asked Lankini to step aside so that he can go inside. But Lankini, looking at the Banar root, she did not understand the Acharya inside Bajrangbali. Bajrangbali was a great Acharya. He is the biggest Bhakta of Hari. And then he actually tried to kick Bajrangbali. Now what happened? Bajrangbali actually kicked her out of Lanka. While dying, Lankini remembered that Brahma told her that someday one Vanara will come and he will kick you out of Lanka, and that will be the last time of Lanka. You will remember Lanka will be finished after that. And so she could not recognize the Acharya. She thought that Acharya is just a human form. We should not make such mistake. Now I will actually come to the next chapter. What are the characteristics of this Acharya? Now these spiritual masters, they are empowered with causeless mercy, world peaches of holy name, purify heart by chanting, incarnation of Krishna's mercy, spiritual master of all varnas and ashramas. One can't become Acharya by mental speculation. And Acharyas are very humble. Some of the example we could get, humility of our Acharya, because one letter from Srila Prabhupada to written we have received in the December 1967. He has written to one devotee called Jadurani, where he is writing, although officially I am your spiritual master, I consider you all students as my spiritual master, because your love for Krishna and service for Krishna teach me how to become a sincere Krishna conscious person. So there are many more letters like that. Another letter to Brahmananda, February 1968, also in the same line. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he is actually giving us direction that how we should be devoted ourselves to Acharya. He is telling, Yasha Prasadat Bhagavat Prasada, which means his mercy, by his mercy, we can get the mercy of Krishna. Yasya prasadanta na gotiya kutopi. Without his mercy, we have got no gati, nowhere we can go actually. Dhyanam stabulas tasya yasham tri sandha. He is telling, with dhyan and with stop, we should do the three sandha, we should pay obeisances. That means when we start the day, we should say that what are all things we are planning to do for the whole day. In the middle of the day, during noon time, we can tell him what are the course corrections required. We can pay our obeisances and tell him the progress. And in the night, we can again remember our Acharya, pay our obeisances, and report to him what progress we have had for the 3 days, for the whole day. Bande Guru Sri Charana Brindam. So, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is very clearly telling, by mercy of spiritual master, one receives the benediction of Krishna himself. And therefore, we should follow all these steps to our dedication to our spiritual master. So when we approach a spiritual master, what kind of mood we should be? So we should be, Srila Prabhupada is telling that we should be in the mood of learning, improving, and serving always. No other thought process should come in our mind, because Srila Prabhupada mentioned in one of his book that when he was a grihi, he was not a brahmachari, and he did not used to stay with Bhakti Vedanta Saraswati Thakur. Once he wrote a letter to him, because always he used to think that I am not with Guru and therefore I am not doing enough service to him actually. So he said that I had only one question, how can I serve you? So similar, and another example I could take, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj has said that when the disciples come to spiritual master with list of all questions, now the big questions which actually they ask the material life problem, then they will ask about the family problem in the next, and then if some time is there, he will discuss some few spiritual questions. So that should not be the way our mood or our qualities when we approach the spiritual master. And I will come to the last sections of my discussion. Suppose what happens if we displease our spiritual master. First of all, as I told in the previous slide, there is no question of displeasing spiritual master because he is none but the a supreme God himself. But if we displease him, we will tell one story from Shastra. So Bhagavan Indra, who actually once displeased, one insulted his guru Bhagavan Brihaspati. Brihaspati is guru of all demigods actually. And Brihaspati was very upset and he disappeared from Sarga. And when he disappeared, the Asuras and the Daitas attacked Sarga. They dislodged all the devatas, dethroned Indra, and they occupied the chair again completely. So when Indra went to Brahma with all the devatas to seek some help from him, Brahma was very clear. He said, so far you were disciple of your Guru. Guru was happy with you, and therefore you had so much of power that Daitas could not do anything. When you have displeased your Guru, when you have insulted your Guru, your power has gone. On the contrary, the Asuras, they are actually a good devotee of their Guru, Shukracharya, and they have become so powerful that they have acquired the power, they can throw them out. So like I told in the first sloka a few slides ago, that without his mercy, where Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying that Yasha prasadan na gotiyo kutopi. Without his mercy, we have no gati. We cannot go anywhere. Exactly same thing happened to Indra when he actually displeased his spiritual master. Now coming back to the last slide, what I actually want to bring back, that we were reading that slok, that amaninatam adambhitam ahimsa shantir arjavam acharyapaśnam sucha sthairjam atma vinigraha. We can now understand that without mercy of our Guru, it is extremely difficult to cross this ocean of miseries, and therefore I put my case that there is a need for us to have a spiritual master and do his service to achieve our spiritual advancement. I will like to end my speech with Hare Krishna Mahamantra and would urge of you to join me in saying that once. The more number of times we say, it is good for us, so let us say once. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namaskar. You can have any question, you can please ask us. Thank you very much.